discuss releasing these emotions. That's the purge. An emotion is energy in motion. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Now, trauma is a heavy energy that is caused from an emotion that was unable to move through you, so it became a part of you. Now, when we think of water as emotions, water takes the shape of the container it is in. So in this case, it takes hold over every part of your body. You're mostly water, but those emotions in your anatomical waters is absorbed into your body and stored in various organs and dark areas. And this is how chakras get clogged. It's basically stagnant water. And we all know that stagnant water is a breeding ground for shit that we don't want around us. No different than within us. Now you can view this from either angle, spiritual or scientifically. The root chakra is primarily where trauma is stored. That's well known. But what is the root chakra? It is the adrenal glands in the endocrine system. Now again, we have to demystify these concepts because there are still many people who are a little bit more scientifically minded that need to understand these things from a different perspective. So we're going to have to bridge that gap. The adrenal glands are responsible for metabolism, blood sugar levels, stress response, immune response, maintaining heart function. I mean, these are basically the starting point for homeostasis energetically. Not ironic at all, the adrenal gland is a pyramid that sits on top of the kidneys, and the kidneys are filters. Now, let's understand the function of a pyramid. They take in vast amounts of information at the base, and what could be considered a data dissemination process occurs, and the highest version of data from that process is pushed out of the apex. Now, all that energetic data that exists within the pyramid can also be understood as the wave of information. Now, what comes out is the refined part, the particle. Now, to see this play out in the body, then look at the pyramidal cells that are in the cerebral cortex, amygdala, and the hippocampus. They are pyramid-shaped neurons that send and receive messages all over our body. They work the same way as the pyramids of Giza on a celestial level. It is because of these 86 billion pyramid-shaped neurons that we are able to be transmitters and receivers. And when you get a download, this is scientifically how you pull that information into your consciousness from the outside. Now, when we think of a radio and turning the dial to tune in, it's not just an analogy. Like, you actually have a radio, and it's these pyramidal cells, because again, as within, so without. Now, information comes into these neurons through what is called dendrites. That's how they move around as well. But this is basically the base of the pyramid. Once the information is refined and is sent out of the axon, this is the apex. But let this sink in. We now understand that the root chakra is our adrenal glands, and this is where energy is coming in. And our adrenal glands are pyramids that sit on top of filters regarding emotions. The predominant one you focus on is what will be the experience that comes out of the apex. Now, when we experience trauma and we do not process these emotions, meaning that we don't express ourselves outwardly or in some manner, such as crying or even just speaking our stance, then we hold on to them, and what we have scientifically done is muddy the waters. Now, when you hear little sayings like this, especially in the exoteric common talk, there is always a deeper truth hiding behind it. Make no mistake, the exoteric has every bit as much symbolism as the esoteric. That's actually part of the cryptic nature of this whole thing, which happens to be my favorite part. It is so sick how all of this is done. But did you know that I am that I am, and it is what it is, mean the same thing? That's how the connections between symbolism works. It's crazy. But anyway, by holding on to low-level emotions, we send that literal water full of negative energies into your entire body. Now, let's paint the picture a couple different ways with analogies, and transmutation of complexities to simplicities is my thing. So every beverage that we have to drink on this planet starts with the base of water. Now, whether it is juice straight from a fruit or vegetable, or it's tea, Coke, liquor, beer, it doesn't matter. Water is the base. Now, once you start adding different chemicals and substances to water, it changes it. We get new flavors, some of which are good for our bodies, and then some, such as the Coke, liquor, beer, are fucking harmful to your body. Now, even if the experience of them is pleasurable, it still hurts your body. So this is where understanding and discernment comes in. Because my belief is simple. Love and light, dark and pleasure. I am not going to deny my pleasures, right? I have them because something inside of me, and something inside of my being wants that expression and that experience. But I'm not going to allow my pleasures to come before my body, and not anymore anyway. But that was one of the longest hard lessons that I had to learn, and I'm still fine-tuning to this day. You know, I still got a lot of work to do on myself. But let me be clear, if your desires involve harming anyone without their consent, then you need to address that shit immediately.